Yo, yo, yo. Post fantasy championship weekend. Jeremy, how was fantasy championship weekend for you?
You know, it's a touchy topic right now, but I did go 1 for 1. 1 for 1. I lost I lost my one of my dynasty leagues, but I did win the home league redraft league,
Hey, there you go.
which really matters cuz those are the people I'm going to see multiple times in the year, and I can't be saying, "Oh, I got this fantasy website," and lose to them.
Yeah. I I will say so I know you have a home league dynasty league. Is this the same
Mhm.
group, same core?
Half of it is. It's
Okay.
like half of them, and then their significant others.
Okay. Nice, nice. I know I jokingly got added to like a lot of people's first fantasy league redraft. I was like a +1 added in, and people were like, "Oh, I'm so excited! This will be so much fun!" And I added in the text chain. I signed it off, fantasy football expert, jokingly, and I won that one. So maybe I am a
That's
hashtag expert. Let's go.
it's the ones that you poke out your chest. And you're like, I'm kind of a big deal. You got to win this.
And I see shout out Dynasty Jake in the chat going to Tampa for all of us, Jeremy and I. Yeah, that's a big game. And okay, keep me honest. I know that's for the playoff spot, but do the Panthers potentially have another path? Is that
I
the
believe they do. I believe the Falcons winning
yeah,
against the Ravens, surprisingly. Um, the Falcons winning that game. If the Falcons win next week against the Saints, then the Panthers are in even if they lose. Because then it would be a three-way tie at the top of the
right.
division. And the Panthers have more head-to-head wins if you add in the Falcons because we swept the Falcons. But if it's just the Bucks, the head-to-heads are 1-1, so it moves to the next tiebreaker. So it's just weird. We need the Falcons if the Falcons win, but the Falcons play Sunday, right? The Saturday game,
Oh yeah.
prime time, 4 o'clock America's game of the week. Yeah, the Panthers play the Bucks, so we'll already kind of know if we're cheering for the Falcons or I'm enjoying Sunday.
Will we get
But
triple digit passing yards from Bryce Young, do you think, in this game?
dude, okay, I mean, I know, kind of expectations are a little kind of a chill stream, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot going on, so I'll go on a little sidetrack
Don't talk
where
about
I
the
went to
Lions.
the
Can we
game.
not? Okay, sorry. I'm just like,
No,
can we not talk
no,
about the Lions? Sorry,
but
go ahead.
going to the we went to the Panthers game. It was a Panthers Bucks. Panthers won, right? My brother is a diehard Panthers fan. Shout outs. Um, but he also is drinking a little bit of that Bryce Young Kool Aid. And he was sitting there telling, "Oh, like it looked like Bama Bryce and all this," and I'm
Bama
like, "Nah."
Bryce.
I'm like, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not doing this. I know what it is. Like I'm like Bryce is kind of the thing that's holding back a lot of the offense here, and then you have the game like Seattle. We were in that game. We had opportunities to win, but it's Bryce Young not doing anything. Bryce Young's not stepping up. It's not like I was watching the 49ers Bears. And
What a game.
I will say, amazing game. And Caleb Williams, I know the last play didn't go great, but you watch him, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. It's the Danny DeVito when Matt comes out as gay moment of like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
Like I get it. I get the Caleb Williams hype. I see how he moves in the pocket. I see his arm talent. Like I watch Bryce Young, I'm like, dear God, like just hand it to Rico, please. Like just get the ball away from you, man. Um, so I'm not super excited about Bryce Young going into that, but I also just think the Bucks are just in this weird like people are fighting on the sidelines, the vibes are low, and
Yeah.
then you
They
add
didn't
in
look
the
great in
Falcon
that game.
situation. Like I feel like they're gonna feel a little bit less. Not that they're not going to be motivated, but I feel like if the Falcons weren't a part of it as well, it'd be like okay, like winner takes all. But they have to win and then still get lucky. So to me, I'm like, okay, this is kind of a decent situation. Whereas if we can get a good game script, run the ball, lean on Rico and Chuba, and not make boneheaded decisions and force Bryce to throw the ball, because that's ultimately what Seattle did. Was like, hey, throw the ball. We know we're going to beat you if you do that. Um, So that's kind of where I'm at. And I feel better, a lot better that the Falcons won. Where I'm sitting here, I'm like, maybe the Panthers make it. Maybe the Panthers make it. You know, and I know, round one of the playoffs, we're gonna get smacked around. We're gonna get absolutely destroyed in Charlotte. But you know what? Something? It's been a long time since there's been a Charlotte playoff game, and that's gonna feel great. You know, I don't even know if I'm gonna get tickets, but just to go out to like a place in Charlotte, watch the game,
any given Sunday,
just
man.
take it all in.
Any given Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's like maybe we'll get the 49ers. And I was like, okay, the 49ers, like our play calling was abysmal and we still were in it till the end.
Yeah.
So, not saying, I mean, Purdy looked amazing. McCaffrey's, you know, the second coming of Christ. But I still am optimistic that, like, you know, any given Sunday, something weird can happen. The Falcons could beat the Rams. If the Falcons can win a game, then the Panthers can certainly win a playoff game.
Yeah. Yeah, that game was wild too because the Rams have the Falcons' first round pick. Like, I know some people, I'm sure at some points were like, how much does this matter for the Rams? That game very much mattered for the Rams. It's a wild game. We'll def get tickets if the Panthers make the playoffs. I'm gonna.
We'll have to see. They're gonna.
I'm vicariously
friendly.
Yeah, I am vicariously rooting for the Panthers here with my Lions. Pretty sad opening a lot of post-Christmas Lions gear presents with the we'll get them next year vibes. But got some cool stuff, and I won. Shout out to myself. My favorite fantasy league. I talked about it the other week that I was in the championship. I won the Jersey League. No, I did not win Charlie Daddy. I won the Jersey League, which is a redraft league that the commissioner, no entry fee, every year the winner he buys a jersey for them. And I've never won it before. Let's go. I'm gonna get a Gibbs jersey. Thinking about a black. Thoughts? Black Gibbs jersey? We're definitely re-signing.
Black Gibbs jersey.
I'm purchasing a jersey to speak it into existence. But I have to give, if I'm gonna talk about myself, I have to give respect to Dabba Doobie. I'm gonna pull it up here. Let's see if I've got this ready. I've got the message from last week. The 0.55 victory for Team Will Sanders FF in the Alpha Daddy League. GG indeed. And if you guys are not with it, it all came down to the Monday night game where I had Stafford and Kyron, and Dabadoobie had Kyle Pitts, and who else but Puka Nakua. I was not. I going into this game, I was like, man, I got Stafford, but he has Puka. I'm getting boxed out bad. And that last catch, man, that's just what fantasy's all about. Like, slowly, I thought he caught that at first. That looked like the craziest catch ever, and he would have caught it, I think, if the defender did not have his hand wrapped around. But wanted to give some respect, and maybe we transition there. The Alpha Daddy. Should we pull up the Alpha Daddy Fantasy Wrapped? I've got it up here.
That.
We'll take a look. If you guys have not done your Fantasy Wrapped, it's a good time. I like checking it out. It's dynasty-daddy.com/wrapped.
I do think it has music.
Oh yeah.
So just make sure, for the stream's sake, we're not blasting music through the. You can
let me
in the top right.
All right, we'll see. I might have it muted naturally. No.
Well, even better.
It was loud. It is a jammer though. You guys need to listen to it. Like you need to check out the music. It's
a classic. You got to get pumped up. You got it. I will say I changed to on mobile. I changed to like you swipe up, so it's a little bit more intuitive. But for some reason, it broke the music. So I got to figure out why it won't play the music now. So that's if I'm bored one time this week, I might take a look at that.
Let's go. All right, and Dabadoobie in the finals, we were just taking a look at, had the best draft. Let's go. And some of these picks.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, yeah. It makes sense because it's the first year of the league. If you're going to make the finals or be a serious contender, you probably have a pretty good draft.
Right? Unless, well, actually, I'd have a decent draft. But no, Puka and JSN. Puka 17, man. This was a startup in the offseason.
Yeah, Puka 17 and JSN 29. That sets you up for, you're feeding your family for a generation there.
One brag this season is that I did more than double my opponent's score in one championship game. Woo! Dang. There was a lot of weird like regular season MVPs that kind of tailed off in the playoffs a little bit. Like obviously JT, I mean JT had a touchdown this last game, but heading into the playoffs, I'm sure a lot of JT teams kind of fizzled out. But there was some like
they felt good about JT like middle of the year. You're like he's RB1, he's untouchable.
Man.
It's always something I think about. It's like when you have someone that is smashing earlier in the year. If your team is good enough, at what point do you say, do I just trade away Jonathan Taylor, get elite value now?
Yeah.
And just be like, I assume he's not going to do that for the next 12 weeks, so for the weeks that matter, right? Like, my team's good enough, don't really need JT dropping 30. I could trade it for something that maybe I traded for Derrick Henry in a first. And then Derrick Henry's the one that's ripping off, 30-point playoff performance.
It is such a difficult conversation because obviously the way that we talk about things are in the context of what happened, right? It's very much in the, 3-week sample size of the fantasy playoffs. This is how we think about certain players. But JT's tough because obviously you had the Daniel Jones injury and then it's like, okay, the Phillip Rivers offense and kind of the tailing off of the Colts offense towards the tail end of the season after that injury. And then you look at other players and I think it's like CMC, you can kind of foresee at some point in the season, it was like injury or he's smashing. Like Mac Jones, they could bring Trey Lance back and CMC would still have, a 25-point projection. So I think there's certain players where you're like so confident no matter what happens situation-wise. Very few, but I think CMC is one of those. I think JT, there's some players I think you kind of chalk it up to like, what are you going to do? Because I don't think the JT thesis was incorrect because I still think he was still catching some passes. Like the role was still really good. I think it was just some like fragiler offensive situations, especially the running back position, are kind of tough to rely on.
Yeah, it's something like it's one of those like 2020 things. It's like, oh, if I bought Nvidia back in 2012 or Bitcoin, like I'd be on the beach. It's like, yeah, it's easy to say that now, but I don't know. It's definitely hard because I sit here and I'm like, a player smashes earlier in the year and then kind of fades off before just random players popping off. And Brock Purdy all of a sudden becomes like a fantasy god.
And what about
30 points a week in the
Chase
playoffs.
Brown? Chase Brown, the inverse, right? Like the Joe Burrow injury, he's and he still had a role with he was still splitting time with Samaje Perine all through the end of the season. But the Joe Burrow offense, I think the thing for me is a little bit more. I know we did the matchup video where we talked about some players. I think that's a big thing to look at, especially heading into no trade deadline with leagues in the championship specifically. And I'm saying this as Dabadoobie. I beat Dabadoobie by 0.45 points. And I talked to you about this earlier, but I was making a trade with somebody heading into the team I just beat in the semis. I was sending firsts away to strengthen my running back room so I didn't have to play Tyrone Tracy, which we all could tell was going to be the right call, not having to play Tyrone Tracy.
Come on.
But I had a choice.
I traded him to you for a third. Come on, you got to take care of him.
He gave me some weeks. He did give me some weeks, so I didn't have to play Kenneth Walker. But no, I had a choice. I could choose 2 out of 3 running backs as a part of this deal. It was Kyron, Travis Etienne, and Chase Brown. And dynasty-wise, in my mind, I'm so focused on like trying to toe the fine line between feeling confident long-term dynasty value and winning this week. And I think if you're moving first and stuff, I think you can chalk a little bit of that. Like I think I got too cute and I chose ETN and Kyron, who I think also had really good projections for this week. But I think Chase Brown's against the Cardinals in probably Joe Burrow's last game of the season was so obviously a smash spot, regardless of how you feel about them long-term. So that was kind of one thing that, I mean, this could be a totally different vibe where I could be talking about how stupid I am for not making the Chase Brown, but it's like the 1 week sample size.
If Kugler caught that one catch, you'd be sitting there being like,
oh my God, I might not be on the stream.
Your black Jahmyr Gibbs jersey being like, my NFL team's out of the playoffs. I traded my entire future and I didn't pick Chase Brown. And now I don't have any picks and lost in the finals.
All right. What do you think? First glance, startup long-term value wise, what was the best steal of the draft you're looking at here in the Alpha Daddy League? Probably between, Jackson Dart at pick 87 versus where he's going to go in startups heading into the season. I don't really buy the whole Giants are going to take a quarterback, and they were letting him run more this last game.
Why would they do that?
I'm not too worried about that. But I think JSN 29, obviously with where he's at, he is like Jamar Chase level wide receiver value. Is it still JSN, even though that's really good Jackson Dart value?
I'd probably say so. I do like Jonathan Taylor at 42 as well.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, if you get anyone like quarterback, I'm kind of stepping back a little bit. I know Jackson Dart had some good weeks. He's been already injury prone. He's had a concussion check like every other game. So, I'm not the most optimistic we're going to really get a full season out of him unless he plays differently.
Yeah.
To me, I just sit here and I say Jonathan Taylor, bell cow running back production at pick 42 might be harder to replace than a JSN, a Puka, Jamar Chase, like an elite level wide receiver. I feel like it's easier to kind of project out, oh, this guy will be good. Like not many guys have like Justin Jefferson situations. And even then you're like, I kind of know why he's bad, but you're not finding Jonathan Taylor's growing on trees.
Yeah.
Even with him not being amazing, some weeks it was like, he's still better than, almost every other running back. There's only like 8 guys that were really better than him down the stretch.
Yep.
So I would probably say it's either JSN, probably just JSN from the value bump. I'd be like, oh, it'd be awesome to have that dynasty wide receiver 1. Like getting that level of an asset from a dynasty perspective is probably is the reason why it's higher on the list. But I think from a current season, Jonathan Taylor going into next year, you probably feel pretty good about versus if you had JSN, you're like, okay, what do I do at the running back room? That's a little bit harder to solve versus just even starting random, flyer wide receivers here and there that can produce well.
Yeah. And talk about random receivers. Dabadoobie here, moving neighbors and the now 111 for Marv, Judkins, and Jacobs. And Alpha doesn't feel as good as it did when it happened. But I think you probably look at that and think about, would you have made it to the finals without some smash Jacobs weeks?
All those smash Marv weeks.
I didn't add him to the equation. The Judkins injury makes it tough too. Like it's tough. And I felt a little bit better about moving my first to we talked about really liking the top end of this class, but I think this could be a class where when we're getting into the nitty gritty of the mocks, the very possible the 111, 112 feel very similar to the early second in terms of you're kind of taking dart throws versus what it's been like in recent drafts. But we'll see. A lot of time.
Yeah, and I'll just do the little plug here. We are going to be locked in all year, in the offseason talking about the drafts and in the class. But I do think there is something to be said about the depth of high value players in this class. And like you said, those late picks kind of become more of just like a early mid-second caliber prospect in those shallower leagues. The top 5 or so picks in this year's draft, those are still, kind of blue chip dynasty prospects that you should feel pretty confident about. It's just kind of those like, oh, are you getting, not the greatest example now, but like the Brian Thomas Jr.'s or the Brock Bowers or someone like that at the 109 or the 110 or something. You're probably not in this year's draft.
Yeah. And some of these, like how the season ended for a lot of players we talk about is the general vibes people have heading into the next season. I think Jacobs is one of those guys where because of the injury and where the team kind of was at with like the Jordan Love injury and playing Malik Willis in some of these games and getting blown out, or not blown out, but losing to the Ravens at the end of that game. I think the tail end of his season is not necessarily how I expect Jacobs to be heading into next year with a clean bill of health. So don't be too bad. Oof. Speaking of BTJ, and shout out to Addy, man. The BTJ startup pick and still was in the semifinals. That's tough. Granted, moved away. I believe I traded for Addy's first in the startup. So shout out to me. Best landing spot.
The long self compliment.
The shame
finally came back around.
I did end up moving the pick that I traded for to secure the championship. So But I saw the
Hey, it
first
paid off.
this year. Let's go. True. What's the best landing spot for Mendoza and Love realistically? Best. Also, what up, Kyle? I know. Shout out to Ray on the Destination Debbie channel. Dropped another
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. True. And I believe it was Love going to the Commanders, which I hadn't seen, which would be very interesting.
Where did the Commanders pick right now?
They're the 7 spot, I think. Pretty early, but I think Love. I think Love is very much going to have in between Genty and Hampton spot vibes in terms of would not surprise me if he's a top 10 pick, and also wouldn't surprise me if he is in the teens or something.
I don't think he survives 7, 8, 9 because you got
the Chiefs
City in there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Jeremiah Love in Kansas City would be phenomenal. I could honestly see the Saints taking, like a Kamara replacement, like a true difference-making back that they can lean on. They have more issues to address, so I could see them not doing that.
And the offense, I wanted to at some point in the stream talk about Tyler Shuck. Is where I was going with that.
You got to have the Tyler Shuck moment.
He was balling at the end of the year, but no, I think the I'm bugging my tankathon right now. It's about to open Consumers Energy.
I will say I do think realistically Kansas City will probably land Love unless if Washington or some earlier team wants to kind of take a pick at running back. I do think we see, and this is something I want to brainstorm more in the offseason, but I think part of the edge of fantasy and dynasty is kind of knowing where the league is going.
Yeah.
And the reliance on running backs kind of, especially we saw, I think Gibbs to the Lions was like the first big one of like, oh, this was a terrible pick by value. Like, you shouldn't do that. And it turns out to work because the league has shifted more towards leaning on, especially running backs that can also be, passing targets.
Yeah.
And Love is certainly one of those caliber guys, like a Gibbs level prospect. So for me, I think he probably is a locked in top 10 guy. And with Kansas City sitting there, they had some unlucky games this year. Unlucky things happened. A lot of injuries. No Rice for basically half the year. Obviously, Mahomes went out. I think that's probably just a perfect spot because it's like how many late first round wide receivers do you need to collect before you're like, okay, this should figure itself out. Let's invest in a different position, especially when they're rolling out the ghost of Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. And it's like, what am I watching? Having like a true blue chip running back in there that would just completely reinvent the offense. And we've seen that not just even from the Lions, but the running game, even just 2 running backs or just one true, elite running back can lift up a team. It's harder to land an elite running back, but those elite running backs make a bigger difference to some extent than like an elite wide receiver.
All right, quick dynasty hypothetical for you. You do all your rookie drafts, and you've taken a decent amount of Fernando Mendoza. I know you just talked about the way you're treating the QB position. Whatever, he fell in the early rookie drafts for you. You got a lot of Mendoza. NFL draft happens. Which landing spot would make you feel the best about his dynasty value? The Raiders or the Jets?
Can I say Minnesota?
Because I think the current conversation, and especially how QBs are treated, regardless of how you feel about Mendoza, QBs go earlier than they should, regardless. There's always top of the draft, always QB needy teams. More often than not, the first overall pick ends up being a quarterback because, whatever, worst team in the league, or at least there's one in the top 5.
And Mendoza is worth it, right? Like, I do think I know I will say Cam Ward has started to make some special plays where I'm like, wow, Bryce Young can't do that. But I do think Fernando Mendoza is going to kind of have the Cam Ward treatment coming into the draft where everyone's like, oh, well, he was like a 2.5-star prospect. No one really wanted him, blah, blah, blah. But I do expect him to go number 1 overall. I do think would pick the Raiders, I think, is a better landing spot. Just because I look at Bowers, I
Mhm.
look at Genty. Like, I'm like, that's a pretty decent situation to come into. And then you add in the fact that they're probably going to have some different coaching, ideally, um, to where I feel like that's a team I'm much more excited about investing in versus cool, like another Jets quarterback. This seems weird. Aaron Glenn, I know he's a Detroit guy, but it's been a little bit like concerning, and we know Aaron Glenn's going to be there. So like right now, I probably feel better with the Raiders just because I think it's more of a mystery box of okay, it can't get much worse than like 100-year-old Pete Carroll. What's going to be the next evolution of this?
Yeah.
And maybe it's something good. Maybe they bring in next year's Liam Cohen, and it's like, oh my
Give
gosh, like
give me
this team
the
looks good.
it doesn't even need to be Ben Johnson type. Give me the Ben Johnson offensive line offseason game plan of how he overhauled the Chicago Bears. That is what the Raiders need to be focused on. But I agree.
Yeah,
I think I
I mean,
probably would lean Raiders, especially if it ends up being the number 1 overall pick. Like there's just a different vibe associated with the first overall pick, I think, even though some people are going to associate it with how Cam Ward's season started. But
I mean, I think right now in a vacuum, I would take Mendoza 105 in drafts, right? Because you have the 3 high value wide receivers.
I love
Tate,
early draft
Tyson,
season. Oh,
and we're here. The season's over. That's what it's for now.
and it's the best too because
Jeremiah Love's number 1.
I can't wait to watch this back too, like when the NFL draft actually happens. But yeah, I do think that there's
Sadiq Bay's number 2 pick because I don't know. And then we're like, well, I guess we got to take a tight end. But yeah, I mean, we have 3 high value wide receivers already that people are hyping up between Tyson, Tate, and Lemon. We have Love. So this is kind of locked in top 4. I imagine it'll be a little bit of a shuffling of, which wide receiver do you have or whatever. But I imagine that will be the top 4 heading in to the regular season next year. And then after that, you kind of have the 105, which could be, I think it's probably Mendoza, maybe Sadiq Bey in a tight end premium, maybe Casey Concepcion if he gets decent draft capital and a good landing spot. And then also Dante Moore could be, second overall pick if he declares.
Yeah.
So you might be looking at 2 back-to-back top end quarterbacks. And at that point, you're like, okay, I kind of have to take that mid first round pick and just roll it on. Maybe I hit on next year's Jackson Dart or something like that.
Yeah. I love this question. I'm not gonna. I have shifted my focus to Lions. I did it about the second quarter of that game against the Vikings, losing to Brosber. That I just in my mind was like we're into off season mode, and to me, and I love
that was rough.
Say what you will about Brad Holmes not making moves at the deadline. I'm a big Brad Holmes guy, and I love the way he talks about we're not drafting to fill a need. Like we want football players. Like we want to draft the best players, and we will find spots for them. We will, whatever, best player available type beat. So to me, I am best defensive player available for the Lions. So I see we're getting mocked a lot of corners, some edges. I am down for all of that. Unless there's some like offensive lineman prospect that, Brad's in love with or something. I'm down for that too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think too, you have a chance at McCoy or Terrell. I think that'd be good. I mean, I think best cornerback available, and you're right in the range where there should be a bunch of cornerbacks on the board. I see I'm on Take-a-thon as well. Panthers are going to be a weird pick to me. I kind of want a linebacker if like a Sony Styles or some like one of the big ones falls because the linebacking class is pretty good.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind just Sadiq Bey though, and just kind of be like, okay, sick. We have Tet. Now we have another receiving threat tight end. We haven't really had a serious one since Greg Olsen, and that's kind of the hard thing to me is I was hoping JT Sanders would take that step forward this year. Hasn't really consistently demanded targets. He's been like a little, he's a little aside of whatever, a side of green beans or whatever, and you'll take it, but it's not something you're excited about.
Yeah.
but sometimes you want it to be like an entree. I want like a true like 20% target share tight end that can just dominate the center of the field. And I do think that's Sadiq Bey. Not Sadiq Bey. What's his name? Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah,
Someone that could do
I
that.
I love that the Sadiq Bey did not come from the Pistons fan who watched a lot of Sadiq Bey.
I know.
That's a random
There's not
NBA
many
poll.
Sadiqs. I
Yeah,
know.
that's true.
Hey, we're switching over to NBA season.
Dude,
But yeah,
that's where the Lions fans are right now. We're switching over to Pistons season. Let's
that's
go.
true. Hey, you got two good teams.
I
I'm over
know.
here
Yeah.
watching the Hornets still.
Oh,
But we got Khan. We got the
yeah.
Knipple.
Yeah, he's balling.
Also, shout out to Denzel Boston. I did forget him as well. He is someone that is probably going to be in that 105 to 108 conversation.
Who do you think the Steelers will pick? That man, I really need to take a look because it does sound like. I mean, I don't know for sure, but the reporting and stuff I feel like is that it's very possible we get another Rodgers season, and they run it back for another 9-8 attempt.
I've heard a lot of that. I feel like Rodgers would shut that down if he really didn't want that.
Yeah. And wouldn't they were very I mean, dude, if you look at some of these, I mean, we'll see. Like, I am not going to pretend to be super confident in understanding like full defensive needs and schemes, especially for teams that I am not following closely. Like a lot of like a division stuff, I'm pretty familiar with, but it is funny looking at the receiving numbers, and a lot of especially without DK this last week, a lot of the names in that box score were not on the Steelers week 1 depth chart. You got the Adam Thielen, the Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I think Scotty Miller made an appearance on there.
Yeah, Scotty Miller. That was the 4th and 1, and they just like go route.
What a game, dude! Losing to that makes I like that Ravens game will be fun. I'm sure the your Steelers family are were not enjoying themselves watching that Browns game.
They're enjoying the Mike Tomlin experience, but if we know anything, they'll make the playoffs and lose round 1, and then be like, well, I guess we can't complain because we are still beating 20-something teams every year.
I have to ask. I'm jumping over. I switched back to the Wrapped.
Yes.
Is the AJ Brown pick a 35 keeping you up at night? I believe this was this the stack team, the Hurts, Brown, Devonta, and Alpha Daddy?
It was the Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devonta Smith, which that really backfired. Honestly, it doesn't really. Just because I did flip him for a late first. So I got something that
you made some good.
Kind of fit my window a little bit better.
It was Jacobs as well. And you moved.
Yeah, I moved Jacobs and Daniel Jones for 2. It was like 2 first or something. And then plus something else.
I remember seeing that deal go through.
Was just for a first.
Yeah, I remember seeing that deal go through and thinking, I don't remember the exact structure, but I remember thinking, dang it. And that's also much more, or not much more, but that's more than I would have paid. So it makes sense that he didn't respond to my trade offer.
Well, I had like 4. I had 4 different offers for some sort of combo of Daniel Jones and Jacobs. And I was sitting here and I was like, I think I messaged you and I was like, I got like 2 first plus on the table. So like, unless you're
come correct.
Unless you're coming here and proving to me that you want this, I'm going to just go ahead and take that.
Which is fair. And I think you made it on the trade portion of the Alpha Daddy breakdown.
I do think so. That it's one of the larger deals. But yeah, man, to me, it's like, I just needed a re-roll. I'm already way too invested in the Eagles, and I have Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts still. So to me, I'm like, okay, let me re-roll. I know everyone hates this draft class. People hated all these other draft classes, and there's always going to be good players.
And
so
come rookie
scared.
draft.
Yeah, I'm not scared I'm going to be able to find someone with the value. Maybe I miss. Maybe I have Caleb Johnson this year. But it's better to at least take a shot. And I could still, even if you have Caleb Johnson, you can sell him right now for something. Someone will give you something.
Even the worst case scenarios, that is very true.
Yeah. Like, after 1 year, there's always going to be, shouts to Dynasty FF subreddit, there's always going to be the curious case of Caleb Johnson, where this guy basically writes, a master's thesis on why you should give him a second for Caleb Johnson because he's carrying too many.
True. And very rarely too, like the Caleb Johnson thing too. I know a lot of times people think about or remember the worst case scenarios, but a lot of times rookies just get slow rolled and there's stories that you tell yourself. Now the Caleb Johnson story very quickly became, wow, he's not getting any run, losing to Kenneth Gainwell, and like the fumble kickoff stuff. Like that is like horror story, worst case scenario, rookie first round pick. Like that is not very, very common at all. And shout out to Dabadoobie. This is gassing me up to end up losing by 0.5 LOL. I want to give Dabadoobie the respect, man. Great draft. Kamani Vidal pickup was a great one. That was one, especially with my hurting running back room. This is like I'm getting
reset as well.
I'm getting introspective about terrible running back room, but I made sure to get Kendrick Bourne and Darius Slayton. So let's go, Will. Let's lock in those receivers.
Maybe.
I started some Kendrick Bourne this year though, so it's okay. But I could have used that Kamani Vidal and Jacoby Brissett, honestly, because I was hurting for a QB, not wanting to play Herbert against Houston.
I will say we can press the rewind button, go back to like week 5 when I was sitting first place in Scott Fishbowl.
Ooh,
and Marion Hampton got hurt. And I put 2 waiver claims in. I got Haskins. And I lost on Kamani Vidal. And I was like, I'll be fine. It's like everyone's like, oh, where's Hampton? Like Hampton will be back in a couple of weeks or whatever. And he was out like the whole year.
I know.
And I do really regret not just, sending it all for Kamani Vidal and just living with it.
I know. That is one thing. And it's not like something that is like a huge, oh, I was so terrible about this, because there were some leagues where I got Vidal, but there's certain players too where the potential is just so high, and even if it's just for a couple weeks, like the Vidal hitting your lineup in the leagues like this one where I was trading thirds for Tyrone Tracy's, like, dude, do you want to be trading a third for Tyrone Tracy, or do you want to put $50 fab on Kamani Vidal for a couple weeks? Would you trade $50 fab for a third round pick? All right, here we go.
Are you asking me? Or is that hypothetical?
Would you? Would you rather have a $50 fab or a third round pick?
I'd rather have a third round pick.
All right, beautiful. Let's go. All right.
That's high level analysis right there.
You didn't make the trades that set the chat on fire in this first one, but I did. We actually, Dabadoobie talked about this one. This was Jacobs, Marv, and Quinshawn for what is now the 111. Neighbors, Algier, a third and a fourth. Which is honestly, I don't even think like currently looking at it is that bad. It's just, it hurts right now.
Injury.
Yeah.
The Judkins Cam scatterbooming himself at the end of the year sucks, because that's going to be something that really lingers into next year as well.
Oh, just look at the Rapt, and I completely forgot that I picked up and dropped him. Oh man. I don't remember that. That was in one of was that in this league?
I feel like that would be on the waiver list. Like that has to be one of the best waivers.
Yeah. This might be a different league. I'm going to say that at least because I don't want to live in a world where I could have picked up Shug off of waivers and didn't.
I will say,
because I would have traded picks for him.
The one league I won in, I faded quarterback the whole time. I ran out with Sam Darnold and Justin Fields and got rid of Justin Fields. And who did I bring in? Shuck. And I was like, screw it. I'll run with him. And it turns out Shuck turned into Lamar Jackson.
Let's go. And this, I'm not going to say that this was like a smash. Like Etienne and Kyron were awesome this last week, but they are much better than what I would have started in my running back room. So this was the league winning trade is what I'm going to call it. Jerry Jeudy, Javonte, and the 112 for Etienne and Kyron.
I guess true. Like Javonte was a little banged up as well, so yeah,
he would have had a good week.
I need to send it.
He just got hurt. So this one was.
But it is nice that you had your 26.
Yeah. Yeah, I had 2 first heading into semifinals week. I had now granted it was the semifinals matchup, my first and Addie's first. So one of the teams was going to be probably the 110 and the other one was going to be the 112. But oh dang.
Yeah, I mean a late first, Javonte Williams and Jerry Jeudy for two guys that are actually going to play in the championship. That's certainly not a deal that would keep me up. Even
And,
if I lost, I'd be like, well,
right.
I mean, I need to at least try.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see. We'll see. I mean, ETN, I think he's played well enough to get some sort of extension here with the Jags. We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Hey, I don't want that.
Oh.
I got a lot of Bashal Tootin.
Tootin time. I think Tootin will have his time. You know, look, Quentin Allen was getting snaps.
It's a slow burn.
You know, yeah. Ooh, the fleeces. Hey, third for Carson Wentz. You made the fleece list.
Yeah.
poor Wentz. Man.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Cheese. I had to do it to you.
I had to do it to him. Carson Wentz probably gave him a week or two. Not a third round pick worth week or two, but. And then there was the Stroud, Coker, and 2 firsts. And I've had a couple of these. So Murr, I'm with you. I had a league where I won the championship, but I believe I traded away Nico Collins, Brock Purdy, a first in Gadsden for Lamar, George Kittle, Ken Walker. And I looked back and I messaged the guy and I was like, dude, I'm so happy I won the league. But I didn't start any of the players that I traded for in this massive win-out deal in the finals. Lamar out, Kittle out, Kenneth Walker, no thank you. Then I traded away Nico. But it was, it happens.
I will say, are you a, what's his name, Jake Tungus believer at this point?
I wish, man. I probably should have been. I actually have, so in Charlie Daddy where I have Kittle, I have Tungus as well. But yeah, I don't roster a ton of backup tight ends in leagues where I have pretty strong tight end rooms, and maybe I need to be on the Tungus handcuff. Like the Niners offense is just one of those offenses where the handcuffs matter because like the role can be so awesome. But no, not a lot of Tungus.
And they obviously trust him, right? I mean, like when Kittle's out, I'm like roll with Tungus over most other tight ends because
all my Juwan Jennings.
Have the same work
I thought I was getting duds that whole game. I was like, oh, it's Tungus time. Jeez. Luckily, you had that big touchdown play. What's up, Owen? All right. Now this is where it's going to get extra tough for our hero.
Oh boy.
Not this one here. Oh, no. Oh, okay. So this was a Dabadoobie. Wow, Dabadoobie with the absolute nail-biter season. 0.39 points in Week 10 victory.
You like to keep them close, huh?
And now this one right here. I beat Dabadoobie in Week 6 by 1.02 points and then beat him in the finals by 0.45. Wow. I'm kind of nervous for I think stat corrections are overrated in terms of things to be worried about. Like it's very rare that a meaningful stat correction does anything. But I'm kind of nervous. One, because it's such a close point thing. And I don't think they would do this for a fumble. But if anyone watched that Jags game, they tried to run a Jacoby catch, pitch, like shovel play to ETN.
Yeah.
And he fumbled it. And when I saw that happen, I'm refreshing Sleeper. And I'm like, oh, ETN, they're going to give it to ETN. Like he had the ball and he fumbled it. And they never gave it to him. So I'm kind of nervous. I'm going to get a ETN +1 fumble and lose my matchup off of it.
I will say, Dabadoobie, if you're listening, you need to start sending customer support. Look at this fumble. He missed the fumble.
Is that how it works? Oh no, never mind. Delete the bot.
They don't do stat corrections till Wednesday morning.
And I think I think like Thursday morning is when it's like 100%. Nothing will change kind of thing. All right, man. Owen, I wasn't gonna say anything about the Steelers. I really wasn't. You know, I saw the Owen name and I was like, I could so bring up that Browns game, but I'm not gonna. One, because yes, the Lions suck. But two, drafting the email now. No. All right, let me process these payouts ASAP for
drafting the email. Yeah, hold off on voting on the league save.
Ooh. 2026 startup is ongoing. Snag the 101 at pick 211, which I was pretty amped about. Yeah. I mean, I think for a lot of people, pretty early on, Jeremiah Love, especially like, okay, there's a case where you get the nuts landing spot. Where's Jeremiah Love going to the Chiefs. Like he goes to the Chiefs at pick
The
9.
Chiefs or
Yeah.
Minnesota.
People might take him. I mean, I'm sure people will take him over Genti for sure. And then
For sure. Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, is he right there neck and neck with Bijan and Gibbs in a startup? And those guys are going way ahead of the 211. Good pick. Also, you get to hold that pick all through rookie draft time. So like the flexibility you have with that is real nice. Bang. Huge Tungus believer. Dang.
I just think Tungus is someone that has a decent enough role. And I know they re-signed Kittle, but I'm like, they trust him. And Kittle always gets banged up. That, especially in those tight end premium leagues, I think the best value is just finding cheap tight ends that have some sort of path to production. Because even 4 catches in a flex in a tight end premium spot is way better than rolling out, Mac Hollins and guys like that.
For sure. All right. Is this a bug, or did I have a 0% chance of defeating B Turts McGee? Was my startup that bad that week 1? Sleeper was like, oh, hell no.
Your team must have been abysmal.
Hey, I bounced back.
Yeah, there has to be a bug somewhere.
From 0% to
0 to 100.
0 to championship. That's a started from the bottom story for real. All right, here we go.
Oh yeah, it's all busted.
Dang. Best offense in the league. Shout out to Addy. Dang, I had a 0% chance against the worst offense in the league week 1. Oh, that's brutal. All right, and then shout out to me. Single game high, 204. I don't remember that one. That must have been like Bowers and McBride. Both had smash weeks because this was my weird Bowers McBride tight end premium.
The Bowers McBride team.
Which felt great until Bowers was pretty bad this year overall and also didn't play in the championship. So shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
Dang, tough schedule. K Simpson, if you guys swap schedules, K Simpson would be 2-12.
Yeah, well, I had the toughest road.
You'll bounce back. That you just need to reacquire the Eagle stack. Dang, poor Dabadoobie. Unlucky for more than one reason. 11-3. This might be a K Simpson stat more than a Dabadoobie stat, to be honest. If we're looking at that.
Yeah, you can't really complain. You did go to the finals, so the buy wouldn't make a huge difference.
True. You're still, you get 3 years paid for. You get in second place in this league. It's not nothing.
That is a pretty good. I didn't notice that at first. I was doing payouts for the leagues I'm a commission of, and I was like, okay, second place gets double, and I noticed ours are triple. So I think a little bit more kick in for the second place guys.
And I do think there's some leagues I'm in where it's first and second only. And I do think that the third place game mattering, even if it's for nothing. I like getting your buy-in back for third place. Like it's usually how I end up trying to set it up. Like it's some sort of like close to like 60-30-10 something, but I like something for the third place game.
I think it's good too because it makes it just a lot safer, I guess, of like if it was only first or second or even just first, it's like it's like 1 out of 12, 1 out of 14, like those are my odds. Whereas just to get your money back, it's like you have a 25% chance in theory of I just need to win a couple games that I can get my money back, which is a lot more doable and accomplishable. Not that the money's important, certainly. You want the money and the bragging rights, but you also want it to not just be like I hope I don't run into a random Derrick Henry game in the playoffs and he just crushes me.
The
even
Chase
though I
Brown
did all these things right.
5 touchdown 2 week span matchups.
The Brock Purdy turning into Tom Brady.
Jeez. After the pick 6 on the first play and then turning around like one of the greatest quarterback fantasy performances of the year is just legendary. Wouldn't want championship week to end any other way. Ended up in second one of my leagues, lost championship 205 to 121. Oof. That's tough. Bowers never healed. We'll be fine with Mendoza. I'm with it, Kyle. Agreed. Yeah, Dabadoobie with 231 on the bye week. I do remember seeing that and sweating bullets, realizing that this is what I was up against in the playoffs. But
Well, you
squad
never
pulled through.
know. That's the thing. It's any given Sunday. You just never know when Zach Charbonnet drops 30 points in the fantasy finals,
True.
and he's on your bench.
All right. We'll do the quick click through of my year in review for my team. Let's see.
Well, you did win. You gotta do a little.
That's true. This is the
little
champ. This is
victory lap.
this is what a championship year in review
Yeah,
looks
take notes,
like.
kids.
If you guys, some of you might not have this on your fantasy reps. You gotta roster players from the New Orleans Saints. Is what we're seeing here. Well, I just picked up Taysom Hill, Juwan Johnson.
You gotta love those New Orleans Saints players.
I played a lot of Juwan this year when Bowers was hurt. All right,
Juwan was pretty solid.
He was big for me. That team, the pace, the offense. Let's go. The Olivia Rodrigo banger.
Dang, you know what that means?
Oh yeah. Can I get the music lore?
Yeah, so that means you are, I believe, the worst manager.
Oh. In terms of like the start
in terms
sit
of
accuracy.
Yeah, your potential points and your actual.
You know what it
the
probably
biggest
was?
gap.
A ton of jamming Bowers into like flex spots. Like I always was playing Bowers over. Actually, I wonder
whoever you had.
who my it's all my Darius Slayton on the bench. No. All right,
I will do a post.
All right, this better not be foreshadowing. Okay. It says it's saying Dan Badubi champion. All right.
Well,
let me refresh this page. Yeah.
The sleeper leagues don't finalize until Wednesday.
Okay.
So oftentimes the winners are not going to be correct.
Gotcha. All right.
Until tomorrow. So you should be okay unless the stack corrections get you.
Okay. And I'm worried they will.
Easy or not.
We'll see. I had a pretty decent and I mean I got pretty lucky in some matchups. I had it was a perfect weekend for Will, for you if you guys are worried, where I had a lot of like the puka I was up enough for like the dud-ish game to not matter. It just everything worked out, all right. Ooh, is Drake Nokia the biggest trader?
Yes, that is. If you have the most trades, and each category has multiple songs. So, you might be the biggest trader in multiple leagues and have a couple choices.
Okay, that's cool. I was kind of hoping it was random because it didn't seem like mine was very, very positive music. No, I knew it was random.
Well, that was the important thing. I was like, I wanted it to be enough songs, so it's like if you're sharing with your friends, you're not like, oh, we're all the same 4 songs. But then I also was like, I want it to be, if you do it again, right? Like if we just booted up the same one, I want you to get the same song every time, so it's not like random.
Yeah.
So I do have some logic in there to be like, okay, you are this version of this, bucket of song choices.
All right, Tyler Warren. What up, Z-Hop? And a 28 first and 28 second for Achane and Kittle. Thoughts? I think I love it. And I'm not as out on Warren as a lot of people are with how the season ended. I think like if you dig into a lot of the metric stuff, a lot of his like great production games obviously came with Daniel Jones, but it's a lot of play action stuff, which obviously is not as effective with Phillip Rivers and Riley Leonard and whoever else was playing quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts this season outside of Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm. So I'm not out on Tyler Warren at all, but Achane, Kittle, you're going to feel a lot better for the next 3 seasons having those guys on your team than Warren and a 28 first and second.
I think the biggest discount in Dynasty at this current point is a true RB1 upside player, right? And I think that's, to me, if I'm trading a tight end, a wide receiver, or someone like that, and I'm getting a Achane caliber running back, that's fine with me. If it's 2 years of that production, if it's 3, if it's 1, it's probably worth it, because I feel like everyone's still, and I do too. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't trade for Christian McCaffrey on like a middle team or whatever.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like you just do it. I don't feel like those players don't grow on trees, and there's like 5 or 6 of them, and I feel like you just do it, and you need to have one of those guys that's an absolute buzzsaw that can drop those 30-point games into playoffs and is consistently just set and forget. And I think players like Tyler Warren, it can just be frustrating, even though they have the dynasty value. But you're like,
Yeah.
oh well, they're like basically like, to me, I'm like, they're not though. They're like a true bell cow running back. There's like 6 of them, and you just gotta get it and take it. It doesn't matter what the age is, whether the cliff is coming. I mean, hell, I buy Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry's someone I'm never gonna. If anyone's like, should I sell Derrick Henry because his age? I'm like, no, he's gonna be 48 and still running for 1,000 yards and dropping 3 touchdown games. I'm not counting against him.
Yeah. And too, I mean, you talked about 3, if it's 3 years of elite running back production, I mean, give me 2-3 years of elite Kittle production to line up with that, with this specific move. Yeah, I think
he got the extension.
Yeah. And it's still like, it's like, I like Tyler Warren, but it's still a bet, right? And we've seen like the most disappointing situation for Achan, and it's still, high end RB2 production in the worst case scenario. And, maybe it's even improves, but we probably aren't getting to back. We'll see. I'm hoping it's the McDaniel, your pick of the litter of your insert favorite vet here. I think there's a lot of.
I do think they are making the right choices, right? Get rid of the GM, keep McDaniel.
Eat the cap.
They keep him.
Eat the dead cap.
Right? You have to know the situation you're in of eat the cap, you force yourself out. But I think, I think they know that if they let McDaniel go, he'd be instantly hired as an offensive coordinator by like 8 teams.
We'll take
and
him.
Potentially a head coach. Like that's how coveted his offensive game plans are. And the personnel kind of fell apart towards the end, but he's not the sole person responsible for that.
Yep. Man, thanks for the feedback, fellas. Achan will pair great with Puka and CD that I already have rostered. Ooh. Man,
you don't need Tyler Warren then.
I see why that team tried to go to 2028, which I don't even think will matter. But yeah, Puka, CD,
yeah, you
Achan,
could trade away your
Kittle.
2030 first. I'd feel fine.
Curious where Kyler and Tua will end up. Yeah, we'll see. I wonder if Tua will end up being just with the money, and I don't know if there's a team that's going to be ready to give Tua the keys to the offense for next couple seasons.
We should do like a show, like especially in this dead period where you're like, I don't really know what's going on, where we just kind of make off-season bets. Like, where the hell is Kyler playing?
Yeah.
Like, what's the Tua situation? Like, what is going on with these random players? I do think Kyler will be gone. I think you can do more with that contract, and he's more desirable as a player.
Yeah.
I think Tua will probably be a Kirk Cousins type of crap. We'll just eat it and then probably cut him the next year. I believe the contract is easier to get out of if they keep him through 26 and then cut him in 27. I believe I heard that somewhere, or I'm making it up.
I also don't imagine it's not easier. Like if I just had to guess in terms of like how dead cap is structured. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Kyler, like, I don't think they're going to get a haul for Kyler. I don't think they're getting a 3rd round pick or anything. But just because of contract, but I do think someone's saying, okay, like I can take that contract I'll toss like a 5th round pick or, do a 4th, 5th swap.
The Justin Fields thing.
Contract and we'll work it out. Yeah. Like I think someone will give Kyler a shot because Kyler has had moments, not very recently, but he's had moments where you're like, okay, not many guys can do that type of play.
Yeah.
And I think if you give him especially a good scheme, like maybe Minnesota or something like that, I could see that being a situation that works out for him.
Outside of Stafford's arm is a hot take. Sorry, I should have called it out. Hot take here. Puka will drop tremendously in value, be more of a Pickens value. And I mean, Pickens I still like. I do think that Puka, Stafford is a kingmaker, no question about it. And I think sometimes people will point to like the Kenny Galladay season, Cooper Kupp Triple Crown, and say like those players outside of Stafford's situation would be nowhere close to that production. And I think both can be true, that Stafford is a kingmaker and Puka is a baller. So with all that being said, I think in a bad situation, like if we saw a long extended period of time where it was like Jimmy Garoppolo Rams, Puka's probably closer to back end wide receiver one production than smashing every single week. But I will be buying a lot of Puka when Stafford retires, if that is the general consensus.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you said in that two things can be true. Because to me, I see plays that Puka makes, and I think you could literally just throw the ball near him, and somehow he's going to catch it. There's some of those sideline catches where I'm like, oh my God. Even that catch that wasn't a catch, but I mean, that thing was almost a catch. And I'm like, not many players can actually make that type of catch. So to me, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, it's a Kenny Galladay situation of he's not as talented. He's just getting crazy volume. I do think he is that talented. And I think you see it too, because you have Devontae Adams there, you had Cooper Kupp there, and he was still outshining those players that have much better pedigree and talent.
Yeah.
Or
he's a good short area yak guy too. So like multiple areas of the field, him being able to win, like I think makes you feel a lot better about just overall long-term value in whatever the offensive situation looks like.
I mean, I don't think I think Pickens right now, his value's kind of bumped up a little bit, but I do think it's kind of Rashid Rice is where I would put the floor of Puka. Like I think if Stafford leaves, and the thing about Stafford is he does hyper target players. And that's just good for fantasy in general, right? We could still have Puka being amazing, but he's not seeing 15 targets a game. He's seeing
what do you have, 17 though last week 10. Before?
Yeah, like any player that has 17 targets a game is going to be a valuable fantasy player. So we could see the offense kind of shift away from the hyper targeted aspect of it. And that's probably the fantasy concern, but I don't think Puka as a talent is anything outside of the top 5.
Yeah, like it's tough to like have the conversation when you're looking at a 225, 181, 167 3 weeks in a row stat lines, but yeah. I just think there are many QBs like Stafford. Yeah, I mean, as a former Lions fan, I just said former Lions fan. As a Lions fan of the former Lions quarterback.
Dang, your season's done.
I'm done. He's
a Panthers fan.
Who's winning this year? No,
Panthers.
I could do that to myself.
Bama Bryce is back.
Yeah, I mean Stafford is MVP level. I don't think he's winning it this year, but 100%. I was early on being in on Puka during the draft process leading up to his rookie season. Hesitated to grab him. My brother-in-law grabbed him once the hype started to hit. I'll never hesitate again. Shout out to Seth.
Thanksgiving might be uncomfortable.
He didn't win any money, but one of my friends was he was like his first offseason doing best ball drafts. And he was like, Will, who's your favorite late receiver I should target? And I said Puka. And I would pat myself on the back more about that if I didn't also take Jacoby Brissett in a rookie draft over Puka Nacua, because you were allowed to take vets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Mean, it's hard. It's hard because I sit here and I don't think I would ever take the Puka in the draft. Like the hit rate on those like 3rd, 4th round wide receivers is so bad.
Yeah. It's more the week 1. How do you react to week 1 thing?
Yeah. It's like week 1, week 2. Okay. He has like 18 targets as a rookie. What the hell's going on? Maybe I need to buy him. And I did buy him. I like in a lot of leagues, I drafted him higher than consensus the second year. And I did go out and make a couple big trades trading first for him.
Yep.
Early in that year. Because I was like, okay, this is something. But still, to me, I'm like, I don't really want to take those late round picks because how many of those guys are roster cloggers and then have no path to being relevant?
Yeah. I want to talk through the content and what people can expect from the channel, the off season. I know that the fantasy playoffs are over. We're heading into the actual NFL playoffs. And it is, you mentioned it earlier, it is kind of a dead period. Obviously, the break in between the end of the season. I feel like a lot of leagues shut their waivers off. There's not a lot of trade conversation until you get to rookie draft season, but we'll be here and we'll be doing a lot of rookie draft prep, looking at mock draft stuff. I think there's still a lot of roster construction conversations you could have. There's still a lot of, I'm in a lot of leagues that trades happen the first week after the season ends. You know, people feeling confident about certain first round pick ranges and everything and players that they want to buy at certain times. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of random one-off trade question chat messages. But anything else that I forgot to mention there in terms of what people can expect from the Dynasty Daddy channel and trade show?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of a fun time to reset, and we can kind of dive into a little bit more of our theory, kind of what our process is and how we kind of want to evolve going into next year. I think too it could be a fun opportunity to collaborate a little bit more once everyone's in the season. Everyone kind of has their routine. It's like you got to do this, you got to do this, and I've had people reach out to me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, man, like I got this, like I can't think about other things right now. But I think this could be a fun time for us to bring in some other people onto the show and also pick their brains about how they approach dynasty, fantasy, how they see the NFL kind of shaping, and how that impacts, how they're going to build out their rosters going into 26 and beyond.
Yeah. Will it be a third straight year of the running back? Yeah, I think it will.
I think that's kind of the bet now, right? Last year was the year of the running back big time. Everyone's like, okay, well, that's not going to sustain. Well, newsflash, it did.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here saying maybe Derrick Henry is trading Derrick Henry away for a late first 2 years ago was a terrible trade. Maybe valuing guys that do have that upside, even if they're older, just knowing that they could get that workload that's significant is probably worth way more than, even guys like, I was going to say George Pickens, but I mean, Pickens was certainly a difference maker for a while.
Yeah.
But guys right below George Pickens, kind of like the Devonta Smith types, where you're like, oh, well, their dynasty value is better than Derrick Henry, but in reality, like, who cares, right? Who cares about Marvin Harrison Jr. when you could get a Devon A-Chain?
True. Maybe we need to do some German stem cell research with the CMC year.
That's true.
Besides
CMC, I didn't know where you're going with that at first.
I want to make sure I mentioned what I was talking about.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Sometimes the will jokes are don't land for multiple reasons.
No, they always land. They always land. I've seen the best ball streams. We know they land.
There we go. Burrito Master Zero. Besides googling around for therapists, how do I get over trades that I regret? I always say two things. It's the Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So like you will never successfully improve your team by not being willing to take risks and make moves. And how often do you feel like the team that wins your league, whether it be a redraft league, dynasty, what have you, is just a set it, forget it. This is the team I drafted at the beginning of the year. Yay. Like all my players were good. No one got hurt. Let's go. Like that is just not how life works. Fantasy works. Dynasty works. So traded to get in, traded to get out. Bang. Right there.
I mean, I think a mental thing to me is I always say, if we rewind time and I go back to the moment I made that trade, given the information I knew at that time, would I make that same trade?
Yeah. Why did it fail?
And I'm sitting here, and in a lot of these, I'm like, I would still make that trade. I one of the big trades I regret was 2 years ago. I traded 2 first-round picks for Christian McCaffrey. I had the best team, and I was just stockpiling. Turns out Christian McCaffrey got banged up and was a nothing burger for over a year and a half. And I was like, I just burned all my flexibility on this piece, and my team was already good. So I could have, continued to compound all these additional young players, but I kind of burned my runway there. But I was like, given, if I rewind time, I'd still probably do that same deal. Christian McCaffrey averaging 28 points a game.
Yeah.
My team's only lost 2 games all year. and I have a bye. I'm in the finals. Like, I'm probably doing that. I'm probably still doing that. Some of the other deals, I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have done that, right? I shouldn't have panicked and traded 2 second-round picks for Deontay Johnson. That was a bad deal, right? That was a bad deal. He went to dust. Certain things like that. I'm like, okay, that process was bad. That I was
Right.
making a panic move. I need to not do that anymore. Other ones, I'm like, okay, that was a good process, but still it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's 100%. I mean, it's the process. It's the trade outside of the context of what happened, because like you said, a lot of the times that things fail, players disappoint, has nothing to do with like what was always going to happen. There's like a ton of chain of events, injuries, offensive situations that changes things. Yeah, like totally a process thing. Like, oh, you traded 3 firsts for Marvin Harrison Jr. before he played an NFL snap because he's the second coming of Justin Jefferson. And it's like, well, maybe there's better ways to allocate your resources other than what, KeepTradeCut and, the community and everyone in Dynasty-Daddy.com ranking site thinks a player should be worth.
Hey, my site's never wrong.
True. Should have started there.
You did have 0% chance to win that game.
That's true.
But
But sometimes I'm better than 0% chance. 113 days to go? Is that true? That's crazy. I guess 113 days is like a third of a year, so maybe I should reanalyze my understanding of time. But let's go.
Let's go. Already hyped. We have the most meaningful NFL games coming up. But yeah, let's start the countdown clock.
Nah, it's dynasty-daddy.com. You know what it is.
No, it's true. It's true. No, I mean, I'm excited. Draft season, surprisingly, this is the first year we really have done a full year of stuff on the channel, and the draft content gets more buzz than the actual in-season stuff. Chat starts buzzing about the draft.
I believe. Let me find it, Jeremy. I'm sorry. Sometimes I do this thing where my brain, I get so excited to show you something. Keep talking, okay? while I find and pull this up.
Okay, keep talking.
Yeah. This is important. This is important.
Okay.
Everyone, stay tuned. But Jeremy's gonna talk.
Stay tuned. Yeah. But I mean, I'm certainly excited. Now I feel like I'm on the spot. Like I know I have to.
It'll be cool if I find it. Just let me find it, and then you go.
Okay. Yeah.
You go on your way.
Kyle said, example, I got T-Law in the first for Devontae Adams and Daniel Jones. I feel a bit bad because he was contending. I assume, is this saying, okay, you're the opposite. You feel bad because you made a trade that screwed someone else. I will say, in our Alpha Daddy League that we looked at today, the trade I made was Josh Jacobs, Daniel Jones for 2 first-round picks and something else. And I did have some of that guilt where I was like, oh, I traded them. Like that's a pretty good deal for both of us. And then right after that, Daniel Jones gets hurt. Right after that, Jacobs has his in and out inconsistency stuff. I think it's something where you kind of be nice. You be nice. You don't be a jerk about it. But it's also part of the game, right? You can sit there and I made a ton of trades where I traded 2 first-round picks or 2 second-round picks for Deontay Johnson, and then 2 weeks later he's cut, not on the team. That's kind of part of the game and why picks are always valuable, right? I was reading some Reddit comments today because I made some post about Wrapped on Reddit, and people were talking about how KeepTradeCut always overvalues their picks and things like that. And while in a vacuum, I do think a mid first round pick isn't worth a lot of these locked in producing players. The liability that one player could get injured or another team doesn't want that player versus the flexibility of a pick is just a huge advantage. And I think in general, a lot of people are coming to kind of understand the value of those high value picks, like the first and the seconds even. And that to me is like your second round pick is never going to get hurt. And that's kind of the advantage of having those picks. It's holding something that's never going down. It's a treasury bill.
Is there a way on your site that you can see best contending pieces for value, like some sort where I can see the contender rank and dynasty rank in the same table?
I I think technically you can you can see if you use like the war tool, you can see war with like your currencies in war with their trade value next to and there's a gear on that page as well. If you click that, there's a drop down where you can select and add columns, and you can add those columns in as well. So you can build your own dashboard that you want to look at if you want to compare contending, the contender value or the war of a player to their actual dynasty trade value. And that's kind of part of the advantage of the league infused trade values as well.
Yeah.
Is you can see, oh wow, tight ends are really valuable in this league. I need to put a little bit more emphasis on those. And ultimately, I think in those tight end premium leagues, that's the biggest discrepancy in terms of value. It's just people undervaluing tight ends as a player that can be flexed in your flex spot.
Yeah. And speaking of undervalued tight ends, I found what I was looking for, guys. The first video that I worked on for the Dynasty Daddy YouTube channel. I have the thumbnail here. Rookie sleepers post combine. Who's on here? How about Harold Fannin Jr. post combine? RJ Harvey post combine. Jaden Higgins post combine. Tootin on here as well. That was a big post combine. And then Jalen Royals also made the thumbnail and the video post combine. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the Jalen Royals story is written. Not a lot of run this year.
One thing I learned doing fantasy content is you only talk about your hits. You never talk about the video. You also mentioned Jalen Royals. Yeah.
I don't even know who that fifth guy is.
Just hey, I called Harold Fannin out. That's all I know.
The wavy hair is that's like Colson Loveland or something. Let's go. There we go. Yeah, and this was just I wanted to pull this up and bring this up. One as like a fun little like, let's go. It's rookie time. But hey, this is what it's all about. This is where we're at, guys. You collect your winnings, and you can't change the past if you didn't win anything, but you can change the future. Only talk about your $1,000
Kyle
card.
knows where it's at. Kyle knows where it's at. That was the my wife would always say that her grandma would say go to like gamble on the cruises and would always be like, I won $500 at playing slots, but it's like, how much did you spend?
Yeah, playing slots. That's the giveaway right there.
It's like you don't tell them how much you spend. You just tell them your hits.
Well, what do you do when you sold all your picks and now it's time to pay the credit card? Oof. I have not had, I feel like I'm active enough to when I know I'm in this kind of situation with teams, I don't get to the point where it's like, holy cow, like I am vetted to the max and all my players are retiring and it's time to like truly give in for 2 to 3 years. Like I feel like I am contending, moving off. And this is why like moving off of pieces you aren't using that are contending pieces is like really important for like future flexibility. But yeah, if you're actually at that point, I think you have to be realistic about if you are so deep in the weeds, so deep in the slots on the cruise that did it in 3 leagues and did not win. I think to me it is, you have to be super honest with yourself in terms of, can I even continue to make the playoffs with this roster? And should I keep going? Okay, all right, let's calm down. The one league I'm in with Big Diaz.
Big Diaz is burying you right now.
I like my team. I like my I got Jaden Daniels, Patrick Mahomes. I don't have Bryce Young in the QB room anymore.
Needs a therapist.
No, I think it is. If you cannot, actually, I do want to pull this up. Love you too. Thank you. If you cannot look yourself in the mirror and say, this team can make the playoffs still. Like if you're not making the playoffs and you're fully spent out on the credit card, like it is time to have serious conversations. One, about trying to get your first round picks back, if that's even possible. And 2, what is the shortest path to finding a way to get back into the playoffs? That's what it's all about. Like I know there is like the rebuilds, punt strategies. To me, it is shortest path to the longest tenure of making the playoffs. And if you're fully maxed out on the credit card, that may require a 1 or 2 year. Let's retool. Let's hold our firsts. Let's move these pieces that are scoring points for a hopeless team.
Yeah, I mean, I think the strategy for me is you got to assess your competitiveness, right? And then you also have to draw a line, right? So to me, I'm always like, okay, say I traded all my picks. I'm not trading any 29 picks. That's the line. I'm not trading 29 or beyond. I have to make this team work for 3 years. And it's kind of like a Houdini thing. Like, how do I get out of this? Like, either do I compete, like have at least a somewhat contending roster, ideally, or do I just accept that it's going to hurt, but I need to blow it up? And I think that's kind of where you have to look at your league, look at the players you have on your team, and which ones could demand a market. Right? I've seen some teams where it's like you look at them and they're like Darnell Mooney's wide receiver 2, but they do have Saquon Barkley and they do have a Sam Darnold or players like that. And you're like, okay. And I've seen them be able to, while still missing out on their 26 picks and their 27 picks, they're able to slowly recoup some of their trade value by selling high on Stafford when there's an injury to Joe Burrow, or moving Darnold, right, or moving Barkley for the elite value when those opportunities arise. It's easier said than done because it still sucks when you're sitting there and you're like, I don't really have my picks and I'm trading away all my good players. But I think that's something where you have to say, okay, does this team have the chance of being like a 5 or 6 seed and maybe getting hot? If not, I need to look at the pieces that do have a price tag or at least a window to where I can get some value back. And who knows, maybe next year I hit on Jackson Dart with the 202 or whatever that I got for trading Stafford or something like that. And then that retool becomes a lot easier to kind of palette versus I'm just going to hold on to this, old corpse of a team forever and maybe get the 6th seed and gets bounced first round every time. It's kind of a hard balance, but I do think there's the important part is drawing a line. Yeah. Right? I think you got to draw a line of I'm not touching any of these picks till then, and then it becomes a game of it's like an escape room. How the hell do I get out of here? And then get to the lush world of having my picks back.
Yeah. And speaking of drawing the line, Transition King here, I'm drawing the line on this last question here, but we'll be back. Don't worry. Subtitled Chip. How do you guys feel about the buy-in for picks traded beyond current year? Does this change a ton when it's a more familiar league? I feel like it can prohibit some trade cheapos. I think first part, the familiar league, we don't pay in advance for my my home league. We just, it's whatever, $50 buy-in, and we just pay at the beginning of every season. But I do think that the concept and structure behind, I know some leagues do it's first and second round picks only, and if you're moving third and fourth, it's doesn't matter as much. But I think for the most part, especially in unfamiliar leagues, it is any future picks that you're moving, you are paying the buy-in for that year. And I think it's just understanding the reasoning behind that. It's like a protection thing for, you don't want a team moving in all their 2028 picks and then 2028 comes around peace out, guys. Didn't win the chip, or I got my money and I'm running and leaving. Not that I think that that's super common, but I think it's just a protection thing for the most part. I don't know. I think for the cheapo question, do you think it's too difficult for a commissioner to have to manage, or do you think it's reasonable to do the first and second round picks, but third and fourth round picks, I won't make you pay the buy-in for 2028 if you're moving a third for freaking Justice Hill for a week or something? I don't know why Justice Hill was the poll, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I kind of agree. I do think, because I've had trades where it's I'm not trading that because I just don't want to pay the buy-in. And I'm like, okay, I get that, but then it's an extra hurdle to make that trade. But then I also get the protection. I think for leagues where you're homies with people, there's no need for it. I my home leagues, it's in the bylaws. We don't really enforce it because I know no one's going to screw us over. And if they do, then we'll talk trash to them and make them buy us drinks next time we hang out with them. But I do feel it's important for those random leagues with people in Discord or on Reddits or whatever, just because I don't know these people. They could totally go AWOL, and I'm like, crap. Like now we have a bad team with no future picks, and we have to find someone to take that team over, or just redo the whole league, which
Right.
doesn't, like isn't fair to any
Or
of
you
us.
have to pay
So
for another like 1 year's free just to find somebody to fill the orphan. Like that's just a tough spot to have to put people in.
it's a tough spot to be in. And the nice part about paying it forward, I don't think it's like annoying as much as saying, hey, if you do pay these picks forward and you do bail, then that buy-in's already paid for. And we don't have to worry about making the new person come in and be like, hey, you want to take over this awful team? And that will be $50. Like it's gonna be like, no, you don't have to pay for 2 years because they traded all the valuable stuff in the future. And you have 2 years to figure this out before you actually are on the hook for what this team looks like.
Yeah. Shout out to Dynasty Jake. I want to let you know I did see and we did mention and we talked a little bit about the Panthers playoff scenario too. I as a Lions fan, I'm rooting for the Panthers. All right, let's go. What do you guys
We got the cat teams.
Serper. That's what we're working with.
Serper, yeah. We'll get you a Panthers Gibbs jersey.
I actually have a here's a little random Will fun fact. I am such a NFL fan that there are times, probably like once every 3 weeks, I'll go on the NFL shop and I'll filter to lowest price and I'll just see like, doesn't even matter the team. I just love the game, man. So I've got a Panther shirt that I'm sure I got for like $3 off of the NFL shop that I'll be wearing. I'll be wearing during the game. Let's go.
I do. I've done that too. I bought a Kyler Murray jersey when they slightly changed their color of red for like $30.
Mm-hmm.
I got a Cam Newton Patriots jersey just because Cam was our guy. But Jake, good luck in Tampa. I am going to be locked in. Nothing bad can happen. We have to win this.
Let's go.
And hopefully I'll be hitting you up for some tickets because I don't want to be paying those Ticketmaster fees.
You gotta start
get Panthers gear for free, man.
Hey, if anyone ever wants to send me something for free, you have my permission.
Yeah,
just shoot me a message.
What gear you got? What gear you got?
Confess all your jerseys. Yeah, you're doing some of the breakdowns. I gotta know, guys. Yeah. Should I get a white or a black Gibbs jersey?
I feel like the black one's cooler.
It is cool.
Like the black and blue.
I've gotten a lot of people say they don't like the white jerseys. I'm a big white jersey fan. I think most white jerseys look cool, but I get that they're not they're not as sexy as some of the other colors. I'm leaning black. Also, there's a winter sale, so I want to get the guy in on a winter sale since I'm getting the jersey for free. You know, he hasn't messaged me though. I'm trying to get him the winter sale. I feel weird messaging him like he's buying me the jersey for free, but I'm gonna message him and be like, "Hey, I won. Are we doing this thing?
Hey, I won. Can you buy it for me, please?"
That's a runner-up I demand. Okay, all right. I'll do black for you, Dabadoobie. I'll just wait for these stat corrections.
Yep, that's true. Maybe the roles will be reversed.
I keep refreshing the Alpha Daddy page just to make sure it's still 0.55.
It's gonna be Will at 2:30 a.m. Just scroll down, refresh.
It's also funny that it's 99%. Like I know it just never says 100%, but it is funny that the 1% is, in my mind, stat corrections coming through. Like that's what the 1% is. If that hits, it's okay. We're good. Oh, let's go. Oh, nice. Shout out to South Harmon.
We'll have to get them on. We'll get them on.
Yeah. We're all shit fam over here.
Wait, is it a signed jersey?
I mean, I don't need a signature. You wanna?
I mean, I do have a signed Jordan Addison jersey. I don't know if I can say that proudly.
Yeah, not signed, unfortunately. The answer is 1,000% yes. I was accepting any free things. And now if I do have to pay US dollars for somebody giving me a Monroe jersey, I understand, and those negotiations can happen in the DMs. Let a Dynasty Daddy know. All right. Appreciate you all.
I'm gonna have to talk to Dynasty Jake. Didn't know he had the merch hookup.
No, don't take my Monroe jersey. T Sanford
There's gonna be a bid.
Yeah, he's gonna put it in the Discord. T Sanford
become eBay.
had a good rule of thumb. If I don't crack open the following year's picks unless the trade gets me an elite outcome player. Yeah, and I think that's that can be understood on both parties too. Like I had a lot of trouble getting trades done for win now pieces this year in the Alpha Daddy League without moving my 27 pick, which makes sense. Like I had a competing team. I was in the playoffs. Like it's known to be a late first. But yeah, I think it's a good rule of thumb. Like elite outcome in expectations and or a guaranteed dynasty value. I like that.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that's a good process. Like if it is a player that I feel confident that year will be basically worth a first, then it's much a first plus. I'm much more inclined to be okay with moving those picks.
Yeah.
I do think, like you said though, like especially in the leagues where you don't have a deadline, um, you do have more of the luxury of saying, I can trade that 27 first in the finals if that's going to get me a guy that could actually win me the league. Because at that point, it's like a 50-50 of did I trade for the Chase Brown or did I trade for, the Kenneth Walker?
Right. And that's, I mean, I got hurt a lot trading. I traded a first for Chase Brown early in the season on a team. And like, hell yeah, playoff time, Chase Brown smashing, but that team didn't make the playoffs because the first round pick I used as ammo to help my playoff push early in the season didn't get me there because it isn't always one player's elite outcome getting to the playoffs. So moving that first can be risque. All right. Appreciate you all. Stay tuned on the Dynasty Daddy YouTube channel. Sub if you're not subbed. If you're not one of these 1,921 and you're here right now, 1, thank you. And 2, click that sub button. Ooh, who is the Panthers tight end to own in Dynasty? And is it? I'll let you answer. This will be the closing answer.
Sadiq Bey.
Sadiq Bey.
No. I would still say probably JT Sanders when he plays. Trimble's had like 5 years. He's not going to ever have a big enough target share.
Mitchell Evans, he was making some plays. Yeah.
I don't think he's bad, but there is a chance that the tight end to own will be drafted in the upcoming class, and if that's the case, then
I think Coker is legit. Like I think the Panthers feel fine about. I mean, I don't know if they should, but it would not surprise me at all if there isn't any major additions to the wide receiver room. Like if it was kind of hey, Coker was hurt this year, we feel good about him. We still like some of these guys.
Maybe bring in
somebody
like a vet or something.
Yeah, not like a first or second round pick type of thing.
Yeah, like a Matt Collins type player where you're like, okay, like he could make a couple big catches, but not fantasy relevant.
Yeah, great season, fellas. Right back at you, Big DS. Thank you all for. I feel like we all are better Dynasty players because of each other.
Hey, I mean, y'all put me on blast. I got to make sure I know everything. I'm up to date on everything because before I had these shows, I kind of was in my own little bubble of like, here's my teams, here's the players I'm invested in. How do I move and groove? But, doing the show and doing all the videos, I have to look at a ton of teams and talk through a bunch of different trades of things I never even thought about.
Yeah.
And there's definitely an eye-opening and educational experience for me. And it's fun to just hang out and chat with everyone.
Yeah, and we'll do a ton of interactive stuff this offseason too. I think there was a lot of times where like I'm not a big mock draft guy. Shout out to my brother. He's gotten big into Dynasty, and he would send me. We were like going into a startup his first offseason. He sent me one he did with like the sleeper robots, and I was like, brother, this is not what it's going to look like. So finding a group of people to do. Finding a group to do
how do you admit you have a problem?
Yeah, but like finding a group to do a legit like Dynasty mock draft or rookie draft like is a lot harder when you don't have a Discord community and a live stream channel that people tune into. So like I am gaining a lot from doing this stuff this last offseason, this season, and then heading into this next year. So looking forward to it. Fantasy Fathers always provide. Still need the Will Gibbs highlight video. You know what? I promise that I will put a playoff best ball stream that is probably going to get 4 people in 70 views total, but it will happen regardless. And we'll get a shipper. Shout out to Sam Sherman winning the 2 mil best ball if anybody's in the best ball streets. But Yes. So that will happen, and we'll definitely get some random why are we watching this on the Dynasty Daddy YouTube channel videos going on in those streams. So stay tuned. I'll post in the
Those are the
Discord.
best streams. Those are something to
Those
behold.
are raw. Will gone wild. All right. Peace. Appreciate you all. Much love. Great year. It sounds like we're doing like an outro, like we're gonna like not see you guys again for like 190 days.
Back in 6 months. We'll be back next week.
Yeah. See you guys next week. All right. Appreciate you all. Much love. GG's. Double salutes. Peace out. See you next week, and or see you potentially sooner for the playoff best ball stream. I'll probably do it. I mean, I have to do it before the playoffs actually start. So worst case, it's the end of next week before playoffs is when I'm hitting those. Appreciate you all. Much love. Any parting words, Jeremy? I'm putting you on full screen.
Full screen. I appreciate everyone to join as we kind of jump started this whole YouTube thing this year. And honestly, I thought it would just be me and Will talking to a void. So I do really appreciate having everyone just join, talk and chat, all of that. Share with your friends that are in it as well. We're trying to grow this, and I'm excited. Year 2 of the draft season should be better than year 1 from a content perspective, and we're just gonna keep rolling with this thing and see how far we go.
Peace out. Stat correction. Now I think I rewatched the clip. That fumble was 100% on Jacoby Myers. That was not ETN's fault at all.
I don't know.
Does anyone know? Our fumbles just like vibes. I don't really like focus too much. I know like sometimes there's weird stuff with like handoffs or like the quarterback's fault versus the running back. Is it a vibes thing? I don't know. I'll do my own research. I'll be up all night figuring out.
Next video. Fumbles vibes or real?
Yeah. Understand your stat corrections for next season. Appreciate you all. Much love. Peace out. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers. Keep pounding.